There's a spider living in your home right now that could kill you and you have no idea it's there. It's smaller than a quarter, perfectly silent, and it's been watching you sleep for months. Unlike the spiders you notice and fear, this one doesn't build webs in corners or scurry across floors where you might see it. Instead, it presses itself flat against surfaces in spaces thinner than a credit card, waiting in the darkness behind your furniture, inside your stored clothing, beneath the boxes you haven't touched in years. When you finally encounter it, you won't even know you've been bitten until it's far too late to stop what comes next. The brown recluse, scientifically known as Loxosceles reclusa, possesses what might be the most insidious weapon in the animal kingdom. Unlike venoms that kill quickly through paralysis or cardiac arrest, the brown recluse delivers something far more sinister, a cocktail of enzymes that turns your own body against itself. The spider's venom contains a potent mixture of siphengamyelina's dud, hyaluronidase and other necrotizing agents that don't just damage tissue, they systematically dismantle the very architecture of cellular life. When a brown recluse bites, it injects this molecular nightmare directly into your tissue. The siphengamyelina's dud immediately begins attacking cell membranes, literally punching holes in the protective barriers that keep your cells alive. But here's where the horror becomes truly fascinating from a scientific perspective. The venom doesn't just kill cells, it triggers a cascade of self-destruction that spreads far beyond the initial bite site. The hyaluronidase acts as a spreading factor, breaking down the connective tissue that holds your cells together. Think of it as a biological acid that dissolves the glue binding a complex structure, except that structure is you. As these enzymes work, they create an expanding zone of cellular death called necrosis. The affected tissue literally rots while still attached to your body, turning black and eventually sloughing off to reveal the infamous necrotic ulcer that can be larger than a silver dollar. If you're finding this information as disturbing as it is fascinating, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible insights into nature's most extreme adaptations. The science behind these phenomena is truly mind-blowing. What makes this process particularly terrifying is that it often begins without any significant pain. The brown recluse's bite frequently goes unnoticed initially because the spider's fangs are so small and the initial injection so precise. Many victims report feeling nothing more than a slight pinprick, if anything at all. This delayed recognition means the necrotizing process can advance for hours or even days before medical intervention begins. Picture this scenario. You wake up with what looks like a small mosquito bite on your arm. It doesn't hurt much, so you ignore it and go about your day. 12 hours later, that tiny mark has grown slightly. 24 hours later, the skin around it begins to darken. 48 hours later, you're staring in horror as your flesh literally dissolves before your eyes, creating a crater in your body that could take months to heal, if it heals at all. This isn't science fiction, this is the terrifying reality that thousands of people face every year. The brown recluse has evolved this devastating hunting strategy over millions of years, but not for humans. These spiders are actually quite small, typically no larger than a quarter including their legs, and they prefer to hunt insects and other small arthropods. Their venom is perfectly calibrated to quickly immobilize and begin digesting prey items like crickets, cockroaches, and other spiders. The fact that this same venom creates such havoc in human tissue is an unfortunate accident of biochemistry. Here's where the story takes an even more chilling turn. The brown recluse doesn't need to be aggressive to be dangerous. These spiders are actually incredibly shy and prefer to hide in dark, undisturbed places like closets, basements, and storage areas. Most bites occur when humans accidentally disturb their hiding spots, often when reaching into boxes, putting on clothes that have been stored, or cleaning areas where the spiders have taken up residence. The geographic distribution of brown recluses creates a massive zone of potential encounters across the central and southern United States. These spiders thrive in states like Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas, Oklahoma, and parts of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Within this range, they can establish populations in human dwellings that persist for years, with multiple generations sharing the same hiding spaces. What's particularly unnerving is how perfectly adapted these spiders are to human environments. Brown recluses don't just tolerate living alongside humans, they actually prefer it. Our homes provide the perfect combination of shelter, consistent temperature, and abundant prey in the form of other household insects. They can survive for months without food or water, remaining hidden in the same cardboard box or behind the same piece of furniture for entire seasons. Recent research has revealed that brown recluse populations in homes can reach staggering numbers. Entomologists have documented cases where single houses contained over 2,000 individual spiders, most of them completely undetected by the human inhabitants. These spiders are masters of invisibility, emerging only at night to hunt and spending their days pressed flat against surfaces in spaces barely thicker than a credit card. The temporal patterns of brown recluse behavior reveal another disturbing dimension to their stealth. These spiders operate on a completely different schedule than humans, becoming most active between midnight and 6 in the morning. During these hours, they patrol their territories, hunt for prey, and occasionally wander into human sleeping areas. The majority of accidental human encounters occur during these nocturnal hours, when people are most vulnerable and least aware of their surroundings. Don't forget to share this video with anyone who might be living in brown recluse territory. This information could literally save someone from a nightmarish medical emergency. The most disturbing aspect of brown recluse envenomation isn't just the local tissue death, it's the potential for systemic effects. In severe cases, particularly in children or individuals with compromised immune systems, the venom can trigger a condition called systemic loxocolism. This involves the breakdown of red blood cells, kidney failure, and in the most extreme cases, death. The spider's enzymes don't respect the boundaries of the bite site. They can enter the bloodstream and begin their destructive work throughout the body. The mechanism behind systemic loxocolism is particularly horrifying. The same enzymes that destroy tissue at the bite site can trigger massive hemolysis, literally bursting red blood cells throughout the circulatory system. As these cells rupture, they release their contents into the bloodstream, overwhelming the kidneys and potentially causing complete renal failure. The victim's own blood becomes toxic, creating a cascade of organ failures that can be impossible to reverse. Medical treatment for brown recluse bites remains frustratingly limited. There's no antivenom available, and many traditional treatments have proven ineffective or even counterproductive. Antibiotics don't work because this isn't a bacterial infection, it's enzymatic destruction. Ice can actually worsen tissue damage by reducing blood flow to already compromised areas. Even surgical intervention must be carefully timed, as early excision can sometimes expand the necrotic zone rather than contain it. The controversy surrounding brown recluse bite diagnosis adds another layer of complexity to this medical nightmare. Many supposed brown recluse bites are actually misdiagnosed skin conditions, leading to unnecessary anxiety and inappropriate treatment. However, this diagnostic confusion works both ways. Genuine brown recluse bites are sometimes dismissed as minor skin irritations until the necrosis becomes undeniable, by which point treatment options become severely limited. Emergency room physicians face a particularly challenging dilemma when evaluating suspected brown recluse bites. The early stages can mimic dozens of other conditions, from bacterial infections to autoimmune disorders. Without the spider itself as evidence, doctors must rely on patient history, geographic location, and the progression of symptoms to make their diagnosis. This uncertainty often leads to a watch-and-wait approach that can be psychologically torturous for patients who fear they're watching their flesh begin to die. The healing process when it occurs is equally remarkable and horrifying. The body must essentially rebuild itself around the crater left by the necrotic tissue. This can take months and often results in permanent scarring or disfigurement. Some victims require skin grafts or reconstructive surgery to repair the damage. The psychological impact of watching your own flesh dissolve and then slowly regenerate cannot be overstated. Research into brown recluse venom has revealed insights that extend far beyond bite treatment. Scientists are studying these enzymes for potential medical applications, particularly in cancer treatment where controlled tissue destruction might be beneficial. The same mechanisms that make brown recluse venom so devastating could potentially be harnessed to destroy tumor cells while leaving healthy tissue intact. The evolutionary arms race between brown recluses and their prey has produced some fascinating adaptations on both sides. Many insects have developed resistance to the spider's venom, forcing the brown recluse to constantly refine its chemical arsenal. This ongoing battle has resulted in regional variations in venom potency, with some populations producing significantly more dangerous bites than others. Perhaps most unsettling is how common these encounters actually are. Emergency departments in brown recluse territory see dozens of suspected bites every year, though definitive diagnosis remains challenging since the spiders are rarely captured at the time of the bite. Many cases likely go unreported, with victims treating what they assume are minor skin irritations until the necrosis becomes undeniable. The seasonal patterns of brown recluse activity add another dimension to the risk. These spiders are most active during warmer months, particularly late spring through early fall. This coincides with increased human activity in storage areas, attics and basements where encounters are most likely to occur. The spiders don't hibernate in winter but become much less active, remaining hidden in their shelters until temperatures rise again. Climate change is potentially expanding the range of brown recluses, with warmer winters allowing populations to establish themselves in previously unsuitable regions. This means areas that have never dealt with brown recluse envenomations might begin seeing cases, catching medical professionals unprepared for the unique challenges these bites present. The economic impact of brown recluse encounters extends far beyond immediate medical costs. Victims often face months of lost work time, expensive reconstructive procedures, and long-term psychological counseling. Property values in heavily infested areas can actually decline as awareness of brown recluse populations spreads through communities. One of the most chilling aspects of brown recluse biology is their reproductive capability within human dwellings. A single mated female can establish an entire colony, laying up to 300 eggs over her lifetime. These eggs are deposited in silken sacs hidden in the darkest corners of human homes, often in areas so remote that they remain undisturbed for years. The spiderlings that emerge are already equipped with functional venom glands, meaning even newborn brown recluses pose a potential threat. The spider's longevity adds another dimension to the danger. Brown recluses can live for several years, with some documented cases of individuals surviving over 7 years in laboratory conditions. This means that once a population establishes itself in a home, it can persist and grow for decades without intervention. Multiple generations of spiders can occupy the same hiding spaces, creating dense populations in areas no larger than a closet. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to learn more about the hidden dangers lurking in our everyday environments. These scientific insights could protect you and your loved ones from serious harm. Recent advances in forensic entomology have enabled researchers to better understand the true scope of brown recluse infestations. Using DNA analysis and pheromone detection, scientists can now identify spider populations even when the animals themselves remain hidden. These techniques have revealed that brown recluse infestations are far more common than previously believed. With many homeowners completely unaware they're sharing their space with hundreds or even thousands of these potentially dangerous arachnids. The brown recluse represents a perfect example of how evolution creates solutions that seem impossibly cruel from a human perspective. These spiders have refined their venom over countless generations to be maximally effective against their intended prey, while requiring minimal energy investment. The fact that this same adaptation can cause such devastation to creatures millions of times their size is a sobering reminder of how interconnected and potentially dangerous the natural world remains. As you go about your daily life, opening closets, reaching into storage spaces, or putting on clothes you haven't worn in weeks, remember that you might be sharing your space with one of nature's most efficient killers. The brown recluse doesn't hunt humans, but in the wrong place at the wrong time, that distinction becomes irrelevant. The next time you feel a small, seemingly insignificant bite, pay attention. Your flesh might depend on it,